Hi guys, today I would like to show you how to open a switch of a mechanical keyboard. On the market we have many kinds of switches for custom mechanical keyboards, but in recent years switches are leading. Gateron, Cherry, Kale, Outemu, JWK, Taxi, Everglide, Dark, and we have many more manufacturers. Okay, so let's start why we should open this switch. For cleaning and repairing switch, it may be that the switch or a part of it has worn out. The bottom part, for example, and the metal plate placed there, which is responsible for the switch response, no longer fulfills its role. It is not necessary to replace the whole switch, you can replace, for example, only lower part. Lubrication, tanning, to improve the feel, the smoothness of use, the silencing of the switch. We can lubricate it, add a film, change the spring, top housing, whatever we want, and of course if it does not destroy the switch. And of course for fun, for training. Okay, so how we can open the switch? We can use a switch opener. These are available in shops that specialize in selling mechanical keyboards and their accessories. They are also available on AliExpress and Amazon. Their prices start from 5 euros and sometimes go up to 50 euros for some limited editions. If you have a 3D printer, you can easily find the right schematic on the web and print them out yourself. I highly recommend buying a switch opener if you intend to open many switches frequently. For example, to lubricate them, it will reduce the time and chance of breaking it when opening manually. If you don't have and don't want to invest in switch opener, you can do it manually with thin tool like tweezers. This method is good for first attempts and rare openings. With this method you can open practically every type of switch. Important note, this is more complicated and certainly longer method than switch opener. My switch opener can handle most switches, but it does not support opening single latch switches. However, in most cases you will see two narrow latches on each side of the switch. Insert the switch into the switch opener so that the 4 latches point directly at the 4 legs of the switch opener. Make sure that the switch sits evenly, does not stick out or slide off. Now press the switch from the top, preferably with thumb on the stem, with big force. Don't worry, the switch will hold, and let go of the thumb, but don't pull it off completely, because if the top housing separates from the bottom one, the spring will push the stem and the top housing out, and then you will have to play with finding the missing ones. If everything went well, the top should slightly or completely separate from the bottom. Some switches and their top housing are very tightly fitted, most of mine are, and you have to gently lever the top housing with a tweezer or nail and gently pull it upwards from the bottom one. After this procedure, the switch is completely open. Congratulations! Similar to the open switcher, we focus on the latches and correct separation of the top housing from the bottom. Choose the first latch and gently lever it in the position directly to the wall of the switch. Then gently move the top housing up. If the latch lets go, repeat with the second latch on the same wall. Now the most important. Do not remove the top housing at this time. There is a very high chance that the switch will resist, and after opening it will already be broken by the bent metal plate inside. If the latches are gone, turn the switch to the opposite wall and repeat the operation. This time I recommend holding the other side of the detached wall with your finger, so that the upper housing does not accidentally slide down and latch again. If everything goes good, the top housing will separate from the bottom and we open the switch manually. Okay, so in case of the two latches the game is simpler, but here we need much thinner tool. The best is to enter with very thin tweezer to the middle and do the same as with the previous latches. Pull the latch to the outside of the wall and push up. Repeat the operation on the other side and you're done. Okay, so at the end we need to close the switch. It's really simple. First, insert the spring on the bottom housing, on the little round piece sticking out in the bottom housing. Second, it's crucial that the stem is facing the plate in the bottom housing with the side where it has sticking out legs in bottom part. They are responsible for the contact with the plate when you press the switch. Third, finally with the top housing. I adjust this by looking at the groove that goes through the bottom and top housing and support RGB backlighting. Some switches support northern or softer backlighting. And that's it. If you have any question, please comment. Thanks for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and see you in the next material.